Welcome to Going Beyond. Thank you so much for once again joining us here. Today, my guest is 𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐥𝐬. Now, Lisa is nothing short of a baking guru. In fact, to such an extent that for the past 16 years, she has organized and run a very, very successful Artisan Baking Institute right here in Chennai. And who better to talk about the skills of baking and what she imparts to people than Lisa herself. Thank you, Lisa, so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for
calling
coming
me.
in
Yeah,
here. Now, why did you start this in the beginning? Did you actually see a need for this?
Jennifer, actually, I'm from the hotel management side.
Okay.
So when you finish some those studies, you normally tend to take one section. So I've always loved baking. I can say I have about 35 years of experience with my qualification and maybe another 10, 15 without. That is, I learned baking with my mom.
Right.
So that passion started maybe when I was a little person. And this is the most creative field in those days that I could pick up, and I loved it.
Yeah. In fact, nowadays there are just so many people who have a little cloud kitchen or they're taking orders for baking. And I guess that along the way, half of Chennai's baking experts have come to you and have learned at your feet, I'm sure. So, what is normally the age group that you deal with?
Okay, it's not half of it, it's quite a bit because I was one of the first baking schools in Chennai. And actually, when I first set up my place on 2nd Avenue, that was behind St. Luke's.
In Ananagar?
Yes, and I had a board put up saying that Artisans Baking, and it was like, I mean, people going down the road could see that board. And then one man sitting on the bus phoned me up and said, I'm so sorry, you have a spelling mistake on your board. I said, what is the mistake? There's an N missing. So I said, okay, it is banking. You have written BAK with. I said, it is baking. So then he was saying, is there something like that, like you can teach how to bake? I said, yeah, you can, like, you know. So that was my first thing. And then I started training. There were nobody actually to train like women who were interested. There were colleges. We had a lot of catering, culinary college, but there was nobody who was taking a short time. So that there was a, what do you call, as a need there. So I started. Then I thought I need to also train young kids because ultimately they will also come into this field. So once in a year during the summer time, sometimes during the Christmas time, I take a batch of kids between 10 to 15 and I call them junior bakers. Many of them have gone out to be chefs and all that. Because
Really?
yeah. I've started, there are a lot of them who are chefs right now, pastry chefs.
So baking is the main focus of your institute, am I right?
Yes, it's baking.
So do they have a choice when they come and join you, or do you have a set curriculum which they have to follow?
We have a set curriculum.
So what is it exactly that you're teaching? Exactly.
I teach both people who'd like to bake from home. So their curriculum will not be so extensive. I also teach people who want to join the industry, right? And for them, it's a more intensive curriculum. So they have the option of either taking a short-term class, like the short-term for us
How
is like
long?
4 days or something, like 4 days of cake baking, 4 days of bread and thing. There's a lot of, or you come to me for say at least 1.5 to 2 months, and I teach you from scratch so that you can start a business or you can join a bakery and switch your career or start a career.
So do you find that there's a lot of interest in cooking these days?
Plenty, especially, I mean, I think COVID and beyond, a lot of people started, you know, experimenting with baking. And they all are YouTube, but when they come to me, I need to completely clean them up, you know.
Take away some of the myth that you saw on YouTube, correct?
And then like quite a lot of, especially women who are starting a family life, they can't take care of their kids as well as go to the office. Those sort of women. There are also women like who need financial support.
Now the 4-day course, for instance, what would they actually learn in the 4-day course? Is it bread? Is it, cake? Is it What is it?
If they come, there is a 4-day for learning breads and all that.
Oh, that's a separate one.
Yes, that's called as yeast baking, where they handle yeast and they learn all those donuts and all those things. They come to me for the 4-day of cake. I only touch cakes. They come to me sometimes for 4 days of desserts, like where like things like cheesecake, mousse cake, all those things comes up. There's cookies class. There are 4 days which only focuses on that topic.
So, Lisa, tell me, do you have the time yourself to be actually cooking something for yourself and for your family members? Do you have that time or no?
Frankly speaking, no, because I guess we just do, so we don't bother making a big cake for ourselves. We want to eat something, somebody bakes it or somebody sends it. Not now.
Right. Okay. How many students would there be in any of your individual classes? I mean, when you say 10-year-olds or 15-year-olds or 20-year-olds or housewives or whatever.
I take only 5 because every individual is given a table. So I accommodate 5. It's like a small studio. So 5 tables are there with all the equipments and all. I can't take more than that because I need to focus on them. So I have max is 5.
So that is very personalized indeed. I would imagine so. I'm not surprised that your institute is very popular because, I mean, 5 to come into a class and learn from the guru, 5, just 5 people are there. So that must be quite interesting for your students.
Interesting because most of them think like one-on-one they caught. But so when they say, do you teach one-on-one? It's actually, this is almost like a one-on-one.
one-on-5, I
Yeah,
mean,
one-on-5 is like I'm there with you at every step.
Right.
And not only that, since I'm from this background, I give them a lot of information of what it is. We call it as a science of baking. So I give them that it's not only what they are doing. So throughout I keep on telling them, like, this is how it is, this is why it is, this is the story of this cake, all those
Interesting.
things, like, so
That
it's
really is
yeah.
interesting. Now, do you have to actually advertise what you're teaching or this service itself that you're offering? Or do you find that people just come or just phone and say, I'd like to join, can you accommodate me?
Frankly speaking, I don't advertise as it is, but then as of like today we have this Facebook and Instagram. I just post saying that there is a class, but most of my students are what do you call as from word of mouth.
Oh, really?
Old students who tell their relatives or their friends or send their children.
Lisa, do you find that people keep coming back to you? Is that happening in your industry and what you're doing?
They keep coming back to me for different.
For something different, yes, obviously.
Yeah, for different. Some of them say, I want to come back to do the same, and then I refuse. I say that shows bad on my part because I have already trained you. You just need your guts to go out and do the things.
You need to go and practice what you've learned.
Yeah, with that one line, they start off.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't come back then.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of going into anything else apart from baking, or is baking your forte, obviously?
Baking is my forte, baking is my passion, and I think I will never leave this till the day I go off.
They say you need a lot of patience to be actually, I mean, I've tried my hand at bread. Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's really bad, I confess. But you yourself, what is your favorite sort of item that you like to do?
If somebody from the industry hears me, they'll call me a baker because in the industry we have bakers and confectioners. So I'm a baker through and through. I love breads and anything to do with breads.
Really? But is bread something that a lot of us don't consume too much of bread, isn't it?
It's not too much of bread. Like I feel that it's not only that, there are a lot of products which come from that. It's like to tell the common person, I say bread.
Okay.
See, so now there are donuts, there are pita breads, there are pizza base, so they all come under this.
There are so many sub things in the whole bread.
Exactly. Yeah,
but in your experience, have you found that you get all the ingredients that you actually need? Because there have been times in India when we have not been able to maybe source, for instance, I mean, sourdough yeast or something, kind of special and you find that you can't get it at all?
Not now. Maybe when I started, I used to find it difficult to get certain ingredients. It was imported by a few
Yes.
shops, but now you get everything available here. And I normally advocate saying that use the things that you get locally, like instead of spending on
Why should
things.
you
Yeah,
waste money
why you
on?
waste money where you can get things from here with a little bit of tweaking and substitution. You are able to do things.
I think your experience really probably stands you in very, very good stead, you know. Right in the beginning, when you felt that there was a need for this, there must have been an inspiration for you. Was it your mother? Because you did mention that you had learnt at her feet, you know. Was that what inspired you or what?
She made me start it out. I mean, as in a this commercial way, it was more like I needed to do something, and what happened was like I was in a place like where it was 95% men, and so it's difficult. It
Must have
is,
been.
yeah. So I needed to have a place where I
To call
could,
your own.
yes, call my own and do what I wanted to do.
Right.
So I started this, and it was like a very risky thing because I was giving up a full-time job, and nobody had ever done this.
Taking the plunge,
Yes,
really.
and my family also was a little bit hesitant because it was a career like that I was breaking as a trainer in a place, and then coming out, it was risk, but
So was the trainer that you just said actually a baking mentor? Was that the training when you talk about?
actually, I was with a big bakery,
Ah.
and I was training their staff. And before that career, like I was in a hotel management school teaching those students there. So training them in this field of baking. I've always been in baking.
So you're pretty much an expert. You've been around a long, long time, you know. So do you ever dream of actually expanding your baking institute? I mean, how many people, how many bakers or how many students would have passed through your hands, through your baking hands till now? Any idea roughly?
Thousands,
What?
thousands, 3,000, 4,000. I don't know. If I
That's
take my old students from the catering college, that's even more.
That's amazing. That is really amazing, you know. You talked about, you know, young children. Do you find the 10-year-olds are keen?
Yeah, 10-year-olds are much smarter than us. The
Really?
10-year-olds now know a lot about food. Maybe they have seen it or even tasted it. For example, if you take a topic of cheese, they know what type of cheese it is, where it comes from, and what's the food that goes with it. They know everything.
That's
Yes,
so.
so you have to be on your toes when you take classes for them.
You can't pretend to know it all
No,
because
no,
they
no.
know it all
They
actually.
know it.
But then that's because of the internet, I guess, you know,
No,
isn't
quite a
it?
few of them have traveled. So if you tell them that this is la, they say no. I ate it in Paris. I ate it in
Oh, excuse
yeah,
me.
Switzerland, and it was not tasting like this.
So why are you not?
Yes, why is mine not
Why
to the
is mine
mark?
not the same taste,
Yes,
right?
yes. So you can't fool them.
Okay, can I ask a personal question
Yeah,
and ask you
sure, sure.
how much roughly would it cost for somebody who's maybe watching us and listening to us? How much does it cost to actually come to one of your classes? Because you're obviously pretty high powered and with a one-on-one, I was just wondering, may I ask how much it would cost?
Sure. Actually, Jennifer, I have not hiked my fees for the past, I don't know how many years. Like, because I feel that people should learn and they are coming to me for a reason. Maybe it's for their family or to make a life for themselves. So I have not increased my fees or anything. So if you come to me, like say for say an average for a 4-day class, I give you all the ingredients, everything, notes, everything. I charge you 5,000 rupees. That's
Okay.
about 1,000 something per day.
Okay.
If you come to me on longer, that 1.5 months, I charge you 40 for everything, all the ingredients, all my
Your
training,
time and
everything.
energy
Energy,
and
yes.
your experience,
Yes,
right?
and it's not easy training a person from a different background into the food industry
Right.
because it takes a lot of effort because it starts right from hygiene.
Do you find that people are actually willing to learn?
Yeah, There are a lot of people who want to learn, but then I say there are a lot of people just who are like say fly by night, like
Just a pastime.
pastime. Yes,
They're not going
exactly.
to do anything with the
They don't
class
go,
that they have.
yeah, and
That
you might not catch them next week with baking. It will be like with maybe with jewelry making. They will be. So
Oh, okay. I
they
think
don't
they're
have.
just passing their
Yeah, they're
time.
just
They're
passing their
just
time. Yeah,
passing their
yeah,
time.
yeah.
When you look forward, how do you think an institute like yours would actually get bigger and with more courses, or are you the only teacher there?
I'm not the only teacher there. I have people who come in to do some of my topics like
Oh,
icing and all those things. To get bigger, I have not thought of getting bigger. I don't know
reason?
if
Why?
I don't know. It's I felt that I could train them better if I focused.
In other words, you're
Yeah.
really satisfied with where you
Yes.
are at
Yes.
right now.
I tell them, okay, it's come to a time like if you somebody is interested, come along. You can I will train you to take up.
Was there anybody in your family who was crazy about baking and therefore, hence, maybe as a child, did watch somebody baking, cooking, or what? Is that how it started for you?
My mom used to do a lot of baking because we were abroad.
Okay.
So she used to do a lot of baking. So I used to see her making puff pastry, this, everything. My elder sister is a very good baker. I don't discuss much with her because I know she knows much more than me.
Or are you just being modest, Lisa?
Not that they, I mean, they are all like very good bakers in their way of way. So there are quite a few people, but I think most of us are in my family is influenced by my mom because we started out in Calcutta. So their baking was their
Big thing, isn't it?
yes,
Calcutta, yes,
yes.
that's true. What do you think about the sort of food scene here in Chennai in terms of baking and bakeries and cafes and things like that? Have you an opinion about what we can go in and actually buy from a good baker? Do you find that that has got better over the years?
One thing I don't much like is this mass mentality because somebody makes something, they all want to make that thing. So you go somewhere, you find the same thing. For currently, it is brownies. I don't know what's so great about it.
Don't like brownies. No, no, no,
So I
don't
have
like it at all.
I have people who call up asking, "Do you teach?" I say, "There's nothing to learn or teach about brownie. It's as simple as that." So you that sort of so that they are not ready to experiment. There's so much other lovely things in baking which you can experiment and give the people like. And I also have a thing, they shouldn't make it so exotic. So I was telling the other day, when you have your urdu vada, which is only about 30 rupees or maybe in a small shop, you have your donuts which cost 120. So I was telling my students, why do you charge them 120 rupees? It's just flour, oil, that's it. And the dal is more expensive. So why don't you bring down the cost and let more people come and taste it and come back for more and more like. So that's one thing I feel, the same way of pricing the same item sometimes, very few people are experimenting the different venues in baking.
Okay. Maybe they just don't have the ideas, Lisa. Would that be the cause?
That is a part of things because they just learn maybe that item and they try to do it. They are scared to experiment or innovate, and they are looking at what comes in the profits. Like they don't want to.
They're looking at it as a pure business
Yeah,
venture.
yeah. I can't say everybody is, but quite a few of them are that. So
So now in your class itself, obviously you have a curriculum and this is what you're going to teach them. So do they ever branch away, or do you ever branch away, or can one of your students come and say, well, can we do this instead of this? Does that happen at all? Or are you fairly strict? I can imagine that you might be very strict about what you're going to be teaching them.
see, I have a curriculum which over the years I feel is a tried and tested method.
Okay.
So, and there is lot of things that you can do with it. Your innovation, your artistry can be applied. And I look forward for that. But sometimes I feel very sad because most of them nowadays don't have. Sometimes, for example, I'll tell you, when I tell them, okay, which two flavors and which two colors do you want? Maybe you're making a mousse. Okay, so what?
Right.
So to get the combination of colors, they look up the Google. So what is given by somebody else?
So they're not using their own powers of
Oh,
imagination or
yes, yes.
whatever you may
I
call it.
tell them you can use, because I tell them, I tell you, but try, find out, read about it and think what you can do. Uh, a little bit of them do it. There are some, but there are, as I said, people who Google it and find out.
That's really is the problem. But have you had a lot of students who actually come to you and say, well, on the Google they said this, and this is the way they are showing it. Does that irritate you, Lisa? I know it irritates a lot of doctors when you try to tell them that.
Yeah,
They say, go to Mr. Google, he's the doctor.
I'm an old school teacher. So there are quite a few of them which says, okay, I saw that and I saw like this on the YouTube, and then I will say, okay, fine, you take your flour and make it like that. So with that sentence, they will know, like, okay, you
They
have to
know the
produce.
teacher is not happy.
Not, yeah, the teacher is not happy, and I am sure that it doesn't, it will not come out. So you do yours, like,
Right, you do
there are a
your.
lot of them.
What about the icing of cakes and things like this? Do you teach them that also? Yes. Is there a lot of interest in that?
Yeah, icing of cakes is a part of baking.
Okay.
So that cannot be taught like baking. It's a skill. So we can give them the basic things of how do you handle it. So how do you take a cake? How do you, trim it and all that we can give. But the finer part of it, I always say, is from what you get through practice. And then you should have a little bit of inborn creative thing. Like I said, colors,
Yes.
which color goes with which, and try to imagine all those things. But if you're the person who looks at somebody else's work and tries to imitate it, it's going to be a little difficult for
Right.
you.
Lisa, how much do you enjoy what you're doing?
I enjoy it to
Every
the
second of the
point,
day?
even in my sleep, I
Really?
dream about next day class, what should I do, how should I roll it out, what stuffing should I put.
I loved your enthusiasm. I truly love to hear someone talk like this with so much enthusiasm. But tell me, for the day, there's only 24 hours in the day, Lisa. So, how do you actually position yourself? Say, for instance, if you are having a 4-day class for, I don't know, 16-year-olds or 20-year-olds or housewives or whatever. So, does that mean that for those 4 days you won't be doing any other class, or is it just that? Or how do you divide your time?
I take classes from 10 to 2.
Okay. Only.
Yes, earlier I used to take in the afternoon also. Nowadays I don't because I can't. So this 10 to 2, I have sort of mapped it out. What they will do, all this is already done by me the previous day. And anybody who comes in, the first few hours, I am noting your speed, the way you do things. And then I work my way of doing things.
So does that mean then that for these 4 days you will have only this particular class going on? Am I right?
Yes, I only have those people. I don't have anybody else
Oh, that's nice.
because it'll be like a whole crowd.
Yes.
So these four, like 5 people on these 4 days, by the time I get to know them, they also know what they are going to do. And we have our chit chat and our talks and all that. And so we just come together like.
Now, can I ask you, are they intimidated by somebody so efficient, so experienced, and so absolutely all encompassing of what she's doing? Are they nervous of you, Lisa?
Not
Little bit scared?
see, I don't talk a lot during my classes.
Okay.
What you call as a small talks, I don't do
Okay.
because basically it's because what happens, the time goes off
Yes.
and things get
Correct,
carried out.
correct.
So I don't have the small talks and giggling talks and all
That's
that.
right.
So I stick to my thing. But after classes, I tell them you can sit and talk to me, but during class, I mean business.
No extra chit chat is
No
what
extra
you mean.
chit chat.
So you're pretty serious about what you're teaching them. And I'm sure that that must work very well for you because they probably think they're getting their money's worth, I guess. I guess. Do you find that you have people who are who come back for the next class and the next class, not necessarily for the same class, obviously, because you don't encourage that. But do you find that that happens, Lisa, a lot with your students?
Yes, like many of them do come back because they know,
How nice.
like they have been taught and they'd like to learn something more. So they experiment going out and getting, but they always come back and tell me, ma'am, we missed you. Like we know that
How
we have to
nice.
come back here and do the classes. So there are quite a few of them. They send their relatives also saying that yes, even though she is a little bit strict, if you want to learn something, go to her, she will
Right.
teach you.
She's
So,
serious about it, right?
yes, yes.
So if somebody wanted to find out, who's watching our show, about the Artisan Baking Institute that you run, is it all on the internet? Is it all on the Google or what?
I have a website called as artisansbaking.in.
Artisansbaking.com.
In.
.in, okay.
Which is a very comprehensive one in the sense like all the topics of what I teach is there. I give my fees also. There are many
Fair enough.
what do you call this, schools or institutes which do not disclose their
I think
fees.
that's not right.
No, I don't feel that is right because I feel that this is what I give and this is what, if you
Take it or
can,
leave it.
yeah,
That's it.
if you can afford it and if you can, you think it is worth it, come along. So I don't hide anything what I do. Everything is given there, what I teach, what I ask, I'm aware of the days, the time, what you need to bring and how much you pay me.
Right.
It's all there.
So you've been going at this for what now, 16 years, is it?
This institute.
This institute?
Artisans is there for 16 years. I started in 2010, as I said, behind St. Luke's.
Okay.
So now I've moved on to a place, it's in my own compound.
Yes.
It's in Arumbakam.
Okay.
So I've been there, like from COVID I moved out to that
Right.
place.
Anyway, Lisa, I've had enjoyed talking to you honestly, and I do hope that lots of people who are watching us are actually going to come and subject themselves to you. I probably might be one of those candidates too.
Do
Let
come
me
along.
take it. Thank you,
Hey,
Lisa, so
thank you
much.
so much,
I
Jennifer.
do appreciate it.
Even I enjoyed the
I
session with you.
I truly enjoyed talking to you. I hope and wish you great success in your ventures.
Thank
I can
you.
see you deserve your success. May I say that?
Oh, thank you so
Yes, I
much. It's
think
so nice to hear that.
I know. I think that your enthusiasm itself speaks for itself. Well, it was my absolute pleasure to be talking to Lisa Isaac here today. I think she has so much infectious enthusiasm in what she's doing that I would strongly recommend you try to get to one of her classes. I'm sure you won't regret it. So until the next time, you take care and bye for now.